Sup, Capybaras? Welcome back to another episode of The Lone Roller. It is I, the host of this, Leon, and today we're just coming back where we last left off on the episode, where Talti and Prayuh were on the way to getting medical help for Talti after his losing his eye and after everything that happened on that one planet with Vicente and Emelina. What happened was, on the way to trying to find something took over and they lost control of the ship. But it was of that secretive group where one of them has appeared as almost an illusion and took over the ship and redirected it to an uncharted small planet where it was all natural except for one little building with one medical android, which gave Talti a bionic eye or a cybernetic eye, if you will, whichever feels more right to you. And in that instance, the eye was able to give Talti a couple of advantages more than a organic eye, which happened to be reading body signatures and including temperature as well as reading body language cues, allowing Talti to pick up on those body cues to know if someone's telling the truth or if they are lying. And unfortunately, even though fortunate that the android was able to give him this replacement, but was unable to give a little bit more information on this secret group that Talti helped out unknowingly or purposely choosing to forget who it was. So our scene now is Talti and Prayuh returning back to Ascension. As always, we test the scene against the chaos factor, which has now gone down to 6. I thought about it, and Talti was more in control of that situation than anything. I just waited, and so he was in control. The chaos factor goes down to 6. So as always, we test our scene. So rolling the D10, which my die is provided by Midnight Fury Design, plug. 7. The scene proceeds as expected. So Talti and Prayuh return back to the place where they met Ascension, where they come in and set up a meeting with Ascension. Sitting there in her office, she sees Talti and Prayuh come in. She says, "Oh, Prayuh and Talti, you have returned, and very much I appreciate that. How did everything go with Vicente?" And Prayuh and Talti and she immediately picks up on there's something did not go right. What happened? And Prayuh fills her in on everything that had happened with Vicente trying to invade into Talti's memory, trying to access that point, and how the person removed his eye, etc., leading up to the medical android of this group that Talti unfortunately doesn't know about getting his new eye. She says, "Well, I am glad that you guys are safe and everything is all right. But did Vicente give anything away about the others in the cabal?" Talti interrupts Prayuh before he says anything and says, "No. Unfortunately, Vicente had nothing to give us, and I took everything from him. He has no idea who else is involved with this group. Unfortunately, we are nowhere on this." And Ascension, she goes, "All right, I understand. We will have to figure something out in the meantime. Please, take some rest before you go." And with that, Priya and Talti go back and return out of leaving her office, go and take a rest after filling her in on everything. Priya and Talti sit together in the same silence they've been sitting in for a long time now. Priya looks up at Talti and says, "How does it feel?" referring to his new left eye. Talti is kind of touching around it, now becoming aware once again that he has a bionic eye. It's it it's quite fascinating, Priya, but it feels like it is my real eye, but at the same time, it's not. And he looks around and he can see with one eye everything appears normal. But then, doing what he needs to do, he activates the body signatures, closing one eye, activating the body signatures around, and he can see the various temperatures of people in the room around them. With that said, does Talti pick up on someone who has an abnormal body signature? We're going to call that 50-50. 14. Chaos factor 6. Oh boy. It is within the yes answer that immediately Talti sees somebody with an unusual body signature. So he tests it out and he starts reading on the person's social cues. Does he pick up on something else about the person's body signature that gives a clue about something amiss? Rolling a 9, he does. And he leans over to Priya and says, "There's something amiss here. Priya, for a moment, I need you to listen to me. There's a person over there that's reading quite unusual. And with this new eye, I'm able to pick that out. Are you serious? And he calmed Talti immediately. Be still. Act normal, Priya. Something is going on with that person over there. And I think we should proceed normally on this one, not to alarm her. Play it safe, play it cool, if you will. So, Priya, follow my lead." Okay, so that gives us now a chance to create a new character. All right, so let's create this new character that's just showing up a little abnormal, a little unusual. So first, they are they are female and they're young, very tall, and they seem to have a problem. They're being blackmailed by an enemy. So Priya, or sorry, Talti goes to where this young woman is at and says, "Hello, my name is Sven." And she kind of looks at him a little, oh, a little surprised, like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there." And he repeats his name. "Hi, my name is Sven. I just wanted to introduce myself to you. What's your name?" All right. He says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My name is Nadiz. Nadiz, it's a pleasure to meet you. Like I said, my name is Sven. I just wanted to introduce myself, and I had to say, like, is everything all right?" She immediately kind of looks away, but looks back at him, and already Talti can read the body signatures on her that she is obviously very anxious. And he goes, please, Nadis, I don't want to alarm you in any sort of way. Are you okay? Please, you can trust me. Is that enough to convince her? Let's roll on it. Rolling a 10, he does. She is convinced that part of her kind of calms down a little bit, but still anxious. He looks at Talti and she goes, Yes, Mr. Sven, there is something wrong. Um, somebody's somebody's trying. She can't fight back the tears. Somebody, Nadise, please, is everything okay? Is everything all right? No, no. She says, someone is, someone is blackmailing me. Oh, and Talti says, okay, I understand. Nadise, let's go somewhere a little bit more secluded and let's see if we can help you out on this. Please, I'm here to help you. And he takes her to a more secluded area while Praya is still lurking in the background. So I want to give Praya a fun roll here on his stealth. He rolled a 5. Um, in any other case, we're gonna call that difficulty would have been 6. And he does have a plus on his dexterity, so he nailed it, but barely nailed it. So he nailed it though. He's able to lurk about and follow Talti as he talks to Nadise a little bit more. In a more secluded area, Talti goes, he's like, he says to Nadise, Nadise, I want you to take a deep breath. And it's shaken. She takes a deep breath and she goes, thank you, Sven, thank you. It's just that it's been so hard. I understand, Nadise. I'm here to help you. If there's any information, I can help you, and I do have an associate that can help. We are in the business of doing that. And if need be, is someone in danger besides yourself? 50-50. 99. She says, she shakes her head. No, it's just me. It's just me. So what is at stake with Nadise? I think we should roll a little bit more to find out. Let's find out a little bit more. Is there a deep-seated secret that she doesn't want anyone to know about? We're going to call that very likely. 34. She says, it's just, they have something on me. Yes, Talti says, I understand. Is that, I'm only guessing you don't want to share that secret with anybody else. She nods her head. Yes. Yes. And Talti asks, is it a person here? I'm going to call that 50-50. 30. Yes. She nods her head. Yes, it's somebody here. It is. Can you tell me more about them? And I'll see what me and my friend can do for you. So rolling on the characters, we rolled 87, strange, 53, influential. Strange, influential. Here's how I'm interpreting that. This person has this weird way of convincing people, probably very vulnerable people, to do what he says in such a way that he can get something from him. And she divulges that information to him. It says that he made me do things that I didn't want to do. and, and I didn't want to. She says, I didn't want to. But he has such a power over people. Sven puts he puts his hand right on her shoulder. Nadiz, who is this person? Who is it? And she gives a name. Actually, let's find out his occupation. He says he's just like any other worker. He just helps out. He helps out around here on the station. And but there's something about him that's different than anybody else. He has such an influence on people. And Talti says, Nadiz, is there anything else that you can tell me about this person? He's around he's kind of around my age. But same height as me. Let's see, let's get a little bit more personality. Although he's a worker, it seems that he makes people do things. And he's about, oh gosh, pleasing others, satiating desires. And she freaks out and she cries uncontrollably. Talti holds her and lets her cry it out. He looks and exchanges looks with Praya, and Praya kind of looks at him with a thumbs up, thumbs down. And Talti looks back and gives him a hand sign that they'll talk later. Nadiz, please take yourself back home, and I will handle this for you. That is my promise and that is my guarantee. Thank you so much, Sven. Thank you so much. And she leaves. After she has left, Praya comes back into this. He comes back into the scene. He goes, "So what was that all about? What's happening?" And Talti fills him in on everything and says, "Let's go find this gentleman. He's a young man, about her age, and about her height." So with the information, they go down to his area. Oh, yeah, what was the name that she gave him? Let's give him a name. Let's give him a name. And so, Talti says, his name is Jensha. So they go down to the work area, into the area that he's working at. They come and cross with the person who was in charge, and Talti says, is there Jensha working today? The supervisor looks at him and is like, what business do you have with Jensha? And Talti says, well, we're from the admin office, and there seems to be a few things going on with his payroll, and we want to get that checked out as immediately as possible. Is that enough? Talti rolling an 8. The supervisor says, yeah, okay, no. Hey, Jensha! He waves Jensha over. Come over here. These guys want to talk to you. Something's going on with your payroll. And Jensha, putting down everything his task that he was doing, goes up to Talti and Prayuh, looking at them, going, "Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you guys need from me?" And Talti says, "Well, Jensha, just follow me. We'll get everything sorted out. Just follow me." And as going, he's walking with as he's walking with him, he talks to him a little bit, getting to know a little bit more about Gensha, mm, and finding out what he does around here. Just normal HR stuff as one would. He's like, "Oh yeah, I just I sort everything out. I get everything done, and I make sure everything goes out to the proper people. It's what I do, you know." And then right then and there, Talti goes, "Does that include blackmailing young, vulnerable women?" Jensen's eyes goes wide. Goes, what are you talking about? I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. Immediately, Talty can just see that he is lying. "You can't fool me, Jensha, and I'll have you know that I have nothing to lose anymore. But hear me now. Stay away from that young lady if you know what's good for you." Kind of an intimidation. We're gonna roll a little bit of persuasion on that. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. Nadiz, I'll stay away from her. I'll stay away from her. Please. I just wanted a little extra cash. You wanted some extra cash. You wanted some extra cash. And he pushes him right up into the wall. Extra cash? Why? Why do you need to feel to threat anyone? Anyone? Ever again? I will make life miserable for you if you if I find that you ever do this again. I will see to it that you live a very long and a very miserable life. And not a threat, but a promise, I will make life hell for you. Do you understand me, Jensha? Do you understand? Don't say anything. Nod your head. And Jensha nods his head. Talti throws him off to the side, and Jensha scrambles back off to his job, scared out of his mind. The fear of his own life, his stability, shooken, which is not a word, shaken around him. Praya catches eyes with Talti. What was that? I'm learning some very harsh truths these days, Praya. And I don't want anything ever to happen to anybody. But it seems that very little control can happen and chaos can reign. And if there's anything I'm learning, it's a harsh, it's a harsh star system out here. And for a politician like me, or was, it's time I step up from whatever cushion I was sitting on and really take control. And with that, they get Pryor gets a beep on his compad. It's a message from Ascension. It says to come back to her office. As they go back to her office, she says, "Praya Talti, please, I have a new job. Specifically, it's for you. Talti, I have a task all for you. Talti looks at Ascension and says, but what of Senator Vamajan's cabal? Talti, you know better than anyone else that that is going to take more research on our end. But I promise you, we will find more of them. For now, you work for me. I will give you jobs, and you will do them. Prayuh, you may leave. I want to talk to Talti alone. Ascension, what is this job that you need me to do? So we're going to roll on a different table here. Hmm. Might be. So let's roll on the table here and find out what is this new mission that Talti will be doing. Talti, this is something that is very much up your alley. There are two factions off in another planet that need help. They are fighting with one another. With your skills of the talk, I think you can go over there and broker peace between those two. Comprende? Talti looks at Ascension and says, okay, okay, I can do that. When do I leave? As soon as possible. And with that, Ascension tells him that this is now your assigned ship. Go to the port. You are now able to use anything. You have an assigned ship to you. You can go to the storage, the inventory, and be able to pick out equipment that you need. But you are always under a budget. Comprende? Always under a budget. And you have to make do. So go ahead. That is your mission. And she hands him a compad. This is also yours. This is for me to keep communication with you. I will send you all the information there. Please. Time is of the essence. Head out. And that ends our scene and this episode. Talti is now a part of Ascension Kadaris's like jobbers and now has to do odd jobs as he hopefully finds more about himself and more about Senator Vamajan's cabal to take them down. But in the meantime, he has to work for Ascension until then. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode. As always, you can follow me on social media as Alternative Zen on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitter. Follow my website, stillfoxes.home.blog. I will also in the description tell you the systems that I use to create these adventures that you always listen to. Once again, capybaras, this was the Lone Roller, and thanks for stopping by.